Today will be enough for us to cover all concepts around Gibbs energy, concepts around chemical potential and everything like that. Okay, so asiqale Gibbs energy noma the Gibbs free energy. Okay, so angisho siyasonke ukuthi these concepts asiwaqali manje ku-physical chemistry 3. We started them all the way from first year level concepts, but I'll just reintroduce kancane to give a brief information on what Gibbs energy is and how does it affect a reaction yethu. So when we are having a chemical reaction between substances awu-2, when you've got a chemical reaction between substances awu-2, we know angisho always a chemical reaction, it always goes towards from a state of higher energy to a lower energy. Siyakwazi lokho angisho. The purpose for having a reaction is so that atoms, they can be moving from a higher energy state to a lower energy state. So we know that whenever we are having a chemical reaction, a spontaneous one, there must be a release of energy. So what gives energy is actually the available or the amount of energy available energy in a chemical system. So mass in a chemical system means we just have got a reactant reacting with another reactant so that you can form a product. So for example, if I say in a chemical system we are having O2H2 plus O2 to give us O2H2O. This is a chemical system. This is just a system of reactants that are bonding together to be able to form products. So the available energy that is released, basically the available energy within the system that is held by the particles is known as Gibbs energy. Gibbs free energy. It's just the available energy found in the chemical system. Itholakala phi lento le ku-chemical system, lama particles lawo noma lama atoms iwona abanani ne-energy. And sure, remember from first level we said atoms, they react so that they can move from a state of higher energy to a state of lower energy. So Leo energy corner, we call it the what? The Gibbs energy, no matter the Gibbs free energy. So basically, Leo Gibbs free energy in a chemical system, it can do work. So we can just say this is to do work. So this is the amount of energy available so that it can do work. So massive energy can do work simply means I'm sure we know that if we have got, for example, a system whereby we have got a gas, let's just say it's a gas laphakat, and Leo gas iyashisa, what will happen to this lid? If when those gas iyashisa, what will happen to this lid? Okay, noma sithi asithatheni isigubhu ke sifaka amanzi ashisayo bese siyashake, what happens to it? Siyaqhuma ngisho. So basically the particles within the system. So when you're talking about the chemical system, it's just basically the particles that are interacting, no matter the particles that are reacting. So when laoma particles are reacting, since they've got the energy, it gives energy, they are able to do work on the what? On the piston. So they are able to push the lid lane. So basically umoya, okay, not only umoya, but a chemical system, any chemical reagents, they've got a potential, no matter they've got an ability to be able to do what? To push to do work. Let's just say to do work. To do work simply means it is to move something, to move matter. So basically chemical system has got, it gives energy which is available so that it can be able to do work. Angisho sesayibona into episton angisho before. Uma siyayiqala. Have we ever seen a piston? Night demonstration in case maybe people have never seen how a gas does work. Okay, I think, let me just say GIF Kanjen. Okay, so in case you have never seen it, I think this is it, Nakula. I'll just project it for you to show how does a piston do work. So this is a gas piston. I wish you see this image could move or something. But basically, if we've got particles, if we've got chemicals, chemical particles that are enclosed in a system, they've got, it gives energy, they're able to push the piston lane because they've got what? They've got ubani who gives energy. Yeah, I thought I would find something that will move. Something ekanjeni, but lana is the opposite. When you push it, is pusha yodwa, and it pushes itself back. Why is it pushing itself back? It's because lama particles in the chemical system and it gives energy to do what? To push this back where it came from. So as you are pushing this in, it pushes it out. It pushes itself out. So basically, that's known as it gives energy. So it gives energy is very important because it determines the spontaneity of our reaction. So if a reaction is spontaneous, it means it happens on its own. So if a reaction is spontaneous, it means that it can happen on its own. So a reaction is spontaneous. How are we going to identify it? We are going to use the change in the Gibbs energy. Uthi i-Gibbs energy ishintshe kangakanani? I-Gibbs energy change, basically you are calculating what is the difference between the initial and the final Gibbs energy. Shuthi if i-Gibbs energy yakho iqala iyinkulu, initially if we've got a bigger value, then finally we've got a smaller value. Mathematically, shuthi delta G yothu izoba kanjani lana? If GI is greater than GF, negative angisho. Yes, so if it happens that your Gibbs energy at the beginning, the energy of the system at the beginning is bigger than the energy that you have finally, it means the Gibbs energy is negative. And just as limits if GI is greater than GF, then delta G is a negative number. So basically, that represents a spontaneous reaction to say if delta G is less than 0, we say that this is a what? This is a spontaneous reaction. So lana we are determining spontaneity. So if delta G is less than 0, it's negative, it means it's spontaneous. We should we have released the energy. So we started with 1000 joules of energy, and then finally we have got 50 joules of energy. So when you do the difference between 50 and 1000, you're going to get something like negative 950. So it means we moved from 1000 to 50. We have lost how much energy? 950 joules. So that 950 joules that is lost, that is the change in the Gibbs energy. So a change in the Gibbs energy must always be negative for the reaction to proceed spontaneous. Because mama is spontaneous, it means here we're having what? A release of energy. Because if when those energy, you started with a bigger energy, then you ended with a smaller energy. So what does that mean? You have lost the energy. So it means that the system has released the energy to the what? To the surroundings. So that's how we have any delta G is less than 0. It tells us that there's a release of energy. But if it happens delta G wako is greater than 0, this would mean the final value of Gibbs energy is greater than the what? The initial value. So in case maybe the final value is 1000 and the initial value is 50, it means that you had 50 joules of Gibbs energy in the system. And then finally, after the reaction proceeds, ubanobani uno 1000. You have gained the energy. So from 50 to 1000, from initial, which is 50, to 1000 joules, which is the final Gibbs energy. It means that you have gained the energy. And naturally, AMA reactions, they can never derive from lower energy to higher energy. They always move from higher energy to lower energy. So this one, it becomes non-spontaneous because you need to add energy so that this reaction can happen. So basically, you need particles wako to absorb energy. So lapha, when Gibbs energy is negative, sine release of energy. When Gibbs energy is positive, sinani, sine absorption of energy. And angeke ukwazi we absorb the energy from nowhere. You have to put the energy, you have to heat that thing. For example, you can put this on a stove. That is why most of our reactions that are endothermic, we do them on a hot plate. Leo hot plate, it is giving energy to the system so that the reaction can proceed. But if it happens, the reaction happens on its own. There is no need to put any energy. You just mix those two chemicals and then they release the energy. They just react spontaneously. Bese ayenza njani? I release the energy in return. Sayithola ngisho idea. Khona uxakekile? Okay. And then if it happens that your delta G is equals to 0, what does delta G is equals to 0 mean? Is the reaction spontaneous or non-spontaneous? Okay, asibukeni. If delta G is equals to 0, it means that the energy, for us to get to 0 line, the energy initial and the energy final, they must be what? Equal. Sayibona ngisho. So if the initial energy is 1000 and the final energy it is still 1000, there is no change there. So if it means that there is no change in Gibbs energy, it means that any acceleration energy and there is no longer any absorption of energy. So we say that our reaction at that point, it has reached equilibrium. So we say that our reaction has reached chemical equilibrium. So basically, when we have got a chemical equilibrium, another interpretation that you can put up, ungasho chemical equilibrium simply means there is no longer a change in Gibbs energy. Means there is no longer energy that is being released, there is no longer energy that is being absorbed. So ngamanye amazwi, it means that the rate of the forward reaction and the rate of the reverse reaction is what? Is equal. So if a forward reaction, it is producing 50 joules of energy, a reverse reaction is absorb 50 joules. Surely there won't be any change lapha ngisho. Like if a system H is releasing 50 joules of energy, and then the reverse reaction simply means it can just go back to what it was. So if it means the production of water from OH2 no O2 gives us 2H2O, let's just say maybe this releases energy. Let's just say this releases 1000 joules of energy. That's the Gibbs energy. It means that the reverse reaction is in the opposite. It will absorb the energy. So for water to break down into OH2 no O2, we will need to do what? To absorb the energy njani? Efanayo. Sayikhumbula ngisho leyo principle. So this means if this is releasing 1000, that is the rate of the forward reaction, and this is absorbing lower 1000, it means we won't have any change again. So we can say there is no change in Gibbs energy, our reaction has reached equilibrium. So sibona kanjani? Sibona ne delta G elingana nobani? No 0. Sayibona ngisho. Are we seeing the basic concept? Is anyone confused? Khona didekile? Okay, so basically, let's look at chemical potential. How does this whole Gibbs energy concept relate to a chemical potential? So a chemical potential, when you want to define it, I don't know if it is defined here, but a chemical potential is simply the Gibbs energy per free particle. So this is the Gibbs energy per mole. So the Gibbs energy per mole of a substance. So the Gibbs energy per mole of a substance or per free particle is known as the chemical potential. So sikhumbule nasho sithi this Gibbs energy, where is it kept? Ihlala kuma particles angisho that are reacting. So this Gibbs energy, it is found inside the particles that are reacting. So Gibbs energy is more like the total energy is now inside the system. I should say this is the total available energy within the chemical system. So sinama atoms amaningi lana that are reacting in the chemical system, and the total energy is the Gibbs energy. But now remember, each and every particle, it contributes to a Gibbs energy. So it means lana, if I say Gibbs energy am 1000, they are like millions of particles that are contributing to this 1000. It means that singakwazi ukuthola ukuthi each and every particle contributes ngani. Sayibona ngisho. So basically the contribution, like the energy contribution of 1 mole of a substance to a total energy, siyibiza ngani? Chemical potential. So a chemical potential is basically the Gibbs energy per free particle. It just describes what is the contribution of each and every particle. But since we are collector as a mole, so what is the contribution of each and every mole of particles? So from that, I think we can compute a mathematical equation and say the total Gibbs energy, it is actually the sum of chemical potentials times the number of moles. I should say it Gibbs energy. I should say number of moles. I should say chemical potential. It is the Gibbs energy per mole. So it is the Gibbs energy per mole. So when you cross multiply, it means the Gibbs energy produced by 1 mole of a substance is given by a chemical potential times the number of moles. So when you are looking for the total Gibbs energy, you must sum up wonke Gibbs energy produced by each and every mole of a substance. So a chemical potential is more like how much does each mole contribute. For example, if we are 10 people, we contribute 10 rand. Total is going to be what? 100 rand. So 100 rand is more like the total Gibbs energy. And then the 10 rand is more like the what? The chemical potential, the contribution of each and every person. So in this case, it's a similar approach. The Gibbs energy in total energy in the chemical system. Total available energy in the chemical system. And then the chemical potential is the contribution of each and every mole. Or say 1 mole of a substance. I just asked 1 mole of a substance, how many particles? How much is it equal to? Shona Uban, 6.02 times 10 to the power bani, 23 particles. So it means if we are having 1 mole of a substance, or if we are having 6.02 times 10 to the power 23 particles, these are like billions and millions of particles. They contribute energy. So maswa sum up my contributions, we are going to get the total Gibbs energy. So from there now, we can now look at what needs to happen so that we can have delta G weight in terms of the chemical potential. So the change in the Gibbs energy of the reaction can be expressed as the chemical potential of the product minus the chemical potential of the reactant. So masingathi siyayibuka i-Gibbs energy, the change in the Gibbs energy, you can just look at each and every particle with its difference ingakanani. So if we have got a reaction from A to B, and now we want to calculate a change in Gibbs energy, instead of taking the total Gibbs energy, final Gibbs energy minus initial, we can just look at the Gibbs energy on each and every mole. So Guma products, how much energy are we having? That's more like the final Gibbs energy. And then Guma reactants, how much energy are we having? Like per particle. So we can either use the total Gibbs energy, the total Gibbs energy initial minus the total Gibbs energy final in the system. Or we can say the Gibbs energy on 1 particle finally, which is the product, minus Gibbs energy on 1 particle initial. Because the chemical potential is just Gibbs energy per particle, per mole of a substance. So if we want to have a chemical equilibrium existing lab, so for a chemical equilibrium to exist, we need to have delta G to be equal to 0. Remember, I said Gibbs energy it must be equal to 0. The change in the Gibbs energy must be 0. Meaning there is no longer any energy released, there is no longer any energy absorbed. So for a chemical potential, for a chemical equilibrium, we need to have, so for chemical equilibrium, so here I'm just going to say this is the delta G R and to just show what's in it Gibbs energy, just a small change in Gibbs energy due to the change in the energies of my particles. Because my particles, we are looking at small particles. So a difference between product particles energy minus reactant particles energy. No matter the difference between their chemical potentials will give you the Gibbs energy, the change in the Gibbs energy. So for equilibrium, this must be 0, meaning this chemical potential of A must be equal to chemical potential of B. So if the chemical potential of our reactants and the chemical potential of our products, they are equal, that is when we say that our reaction is at equilibrium. So what is equilibrium? You don't just explain using the rate of the forward reaction and rate of reverse reaction. You can explain it using a chemical potential. Also, the chemical potential of the product and the chemical potential of the reactants, they are equal. That means that this is equilibrium. Or you can say that delta G is equals to 0. Means that there is no change in the what? In the Gibbs energy. Or you can say that the rate of the forward reaction is equals to the rate of the reverse reaction. Or you can use the grade 12 definition that says the concentration of the product and reactants will remain constant. All of those things, they describe the chemical equilibrium. It's just that lana we are using a thermodynamic things. So when we look at chemical equilibrium, we need to look at the following things. Just project them from the slide. So equilibrium is basically the state where no observable changes, where there are no observable changes in time. Choose akusashintsha lutho lapho. The Gibbs energy ayisashintsha, it remains constant. Means that the chemical potential of products and reactants iyalingana. So basically, chemical equilibrium, it is achieved when the rates of the forward and the reverse reactions are equal. We've already said that. You see, the rate at which we are producing our product is the same rate at which we are forming back in our reactants. It's like I'm forming a sandwich using two slices and upolon, and then omunye he's breaking up the sandwich and giving me back the slices. That's like a forward reaction and a reverse reaction, just doing the opposite thing. So if I'm producing 10 sandwiches with 2 slices and 1 polon, it means the umuntu lo ongireverselayo, if their rate is the same, it means uzongireversela back those 10 slices, back those those 20 slices and 5 polon, 10 polon njalo. So the rates of the forward and the reverse reactions are equal. So it means that there is no change lapho kahle. So there is no change in the concentration of the reactants and products. Because what we are producing, it is the same thing that we are forming again. So say, okay, say I produce a product, but the product reactant again. So the reaction is not, the concentrations will never change. And also we have got a dynamic equilibrium. That just explains our chemical potentials there, they are not changing. So we have got 2 types of equilibrium that you can look at. It's in a physical equilibrium whereby there is a change in the state of matter. So for example, if you are boiling water, this is H2O and then it's liquid form. Water, it becomes a what? A gas, right? So water in liquid form will form water vapor, which is a gas. So basically, this is known as the physical equilibrium. Once the rate of the formation of a gas is equal to the rate of the formation of the liquid, we say that sinan lana is a physical equilibrium. So in physical equilibrium, we can explain it. It is the equilibrium whereby we've got a change in the state of what? In the state of matter. No matter there is a change in the phase. Because now we are changing from liquid to gas. So for example, if you are boiling water, the rate at which we are forming steam from Laumans will be equal to the rate at which we are forming back in liquid water. So for example, if you close a bottle up high when it's boiling, you are going to find out to see ulesivalo sakho on the lid kuzoba nani nama liquid particles angisho. At the same time we're having what? We're having a vapor. But basically that's what we're having as in a physical equilibrium. Then in chemical equilibrium, there is no necessary change in the state of matter. And in chemical equilibrium yethu, we look for when we are doing a constant, we are going to look at only gases because our concentration of liquid and other substances, they remain constant. So we only look at the gases, the gaseous equilibrium. So in physical equilibrium, there is a change in the state of matter. But during a chemical equilibrium, it can be from gas to gas. This is N2O4 forming nitrogen dioxide. So this is still a gas forming another gas. So that is known as a chemical equilibrium. So it Gibbs energy again now. From physical chemistry 2, we have already defined it. Gibbs energy can be expressed as H minus Ts. But so we are back to this formula later on with how does it come about. But what I've already explained, if delta G is negative, It means that there's a release of what? Of usable energy. Leo energy Leo is being released into the surroundings, and that energy can be used to do work. And the reaction yakho njani is spontaneous. Ayikho namanzi. Yo. Angishaka idanaphi namuhla. Ayikho namanzi. Throat yami yomile. Yeah, okay. So, if delta G is negative, there's a release of usable energy that can do work, and then the reaction is also spontaneous. But to delta G maka positive, it means it's not spontaneous. We need to absorb the energy. And then, now, is standard free energy. There's another type of Gibbs free energy that we say is the standard free energy. So, a standard free energy, we put our zero on top of it. We put this note to show that it's a standard. Remember, when you're talking about a standard, it means that it occurs at standard conditions, such as any standard temperature, standard pressure, as well as standard, what else? Yeah, standard temperature and pressure, that's the most important thing. So basically, if we are having 1 mole of a 1 molar concentration, actually you're on standard concentration yet, and then standard temperature at room temperature, which is 298 kelvins, and also standard pressure is 1 atmosphere. So during our standard conditions, that change in the Gibbs energy sibiza ngani standard free energy. So it's known as the standard free energy of the reaction. And how do you calculate the standard free energy of the reaction? Into okumele uyazi wena-ke to be able to calculate that, you need to be able to know ukuthi each and every element here, each and every element esinayo. I don't know what's wrong with this thing. iPhone wenza. Okay. All right, it's fine. But again, here the standard free energy. If we've got it Gibbs energy of the reactant A, it Gibbs energy of the reactant B, it Gibbs energy of C, it Gibbs energy of D, we can be able to find the standard energy. Sithola kanjani? Ubuka la ukuthi molar ratio of A ithini. I show you first sum up our products. Let me just write the formula and see. To find the standard Gibbs energy delta G naught, we sum up the number of moles times N times the Gibbs energy of the products minus the sum of the number of moles times the Gibbs energy of the reactants. Now, of the reactants. So we must have in number of moles, which is the molar ratio. So for a generic example, if I say this is 2H2O plus, okay, this is 2H2 plus O2 to give me 2H2O. Lana, if I look at my products, I'm a product having no H2O. If I know it gives energy H2O, mhlambe ngithi the delta G of H2O, I know it mhlambe 191.2 joules, just an example, not accurate values. And then maybe I know that it gives energy for O2 is equals to 0 joules. And I know that the Gibbs energy for hydrogen maybe for hydrogen gas maybe is negative 2.19 joules. So if you want to find the standard Gibbs energy of formation, you are just going to do what? You are just going to say standard Gibbs energy of formation uzo-add ama Gibbs energy contribution of the products. The product here to learn in this case injani E1 ilo H2O angisho. So you would have to say that the mole ratio, the number of moles of H2O, in this case they are what? They are 2 moles of H2O. So this is 2 times. It gives energy H2O lana, I just gave it a value ka 191.2 joules. That's the only product here called ngisho then. If we any product, I will also add it. Minus, now we look at the reactants. The reactants we've got hydrogen gas and oxygen gas. Each and every one will contribute its own Gibbs energy. Sayibona ngisho leyo nto. Secongishekela sa record lapha mfethu. Oh okay. On 30 minutes so phelele. So H2 no O2 are my reactants wethu angisho. So if I having H2 and O2, these are our reactants. And then if we have our contribution of our Gibbs energy, just look at your hydrogen, we say molar ratio yakhona is 2. and it gives energy for hydrogen under standard state condition. We say that lana is over 1 negative 2.19. And then we add it to that one of oxygen. Oxygen una how many moles lana? 1 mole. And then times it gives energy that we have assigned it. The standard one still was 0. So this is more like, this is going to give you delta G is whatever that you find there. That will be the Gibbs energy under standard conditions. So it is a standard free energy of reaction then. It's known as the standard free energy of reaction. We put this note on top. So this is the Gibbs free energy. If it happens with nani, it's nama standard state conditions. Actually, what are standard conditions? It's 1 molar concentration, it's a 1 atmospheric pressure, and it's also 298 Kelvin, which is room temperature. Sayibona ngisho. Okay. So this is just a couple of derivations that you look at. I don't know, you just need to know how to apply them. But this is how we got to be able to derive this other formula for it gives energy if it happens within a chemical equilibrium is achieved. So mangatiwa, we have got 2 gases and they've achieved a chemical equilibrium. The Gibbs energy can be found using ubani negative RT ln K. If you want, I will send you the derivation. I think this one is also a derivation accord. But if you want the derivation of how we got to this formula at the end of the day, you can get it provided you want it. But basically, this is another way of calculating in our Gibbs energy. So it gives energy, no matter changing the Gibbs energy, we calculate it if we know what is the equilibrium constant. Actually, let's say if we are having A and B that are in equilibrium, it means the rate of the forward direction and the rate of the reverse direction are equal. It means the chemical potential of the product and the chemical potential of the reaction, they are also equal. Then it means if you do all the mathematical derivations here, you will end up on this formula that says for a system, for a chemical system in chemical equilibrium, it gives energy. For you to calculate it, you need a chemical equilibrium constant, which is ubani, Kc. I'm sure you know Kc and equilibrium constant. And then you also need a gas constant, which is equals to 8.3145. And you also need the temperature. So it gives energy to an extent, it depends on the what? On the temperature. If it happens with any, our reaction is at equilibrium. Okay. So when you end up plotting a graph of it Gibbs energy versus the time taken for the reaction, you will only find out with it Gibbs energy yako, it can change in different ways. So here at the beginning, your Gibbs energy is negative. Should say from lana to lana, reaction yako injan. From here to here on the graph. What's happening on the reaction? From here to here. The reaction is what? Is spontaneous. Should say the reaction is spontaneous. So this is a spontaneous reaction that is happening at a faster rate now. Because here we're having a negative gradient. So that negative gradient, it is basically our Gibbs energy, the change in the Gibbs energy with respect to the what? To the time taken by a reaction, no matter the extent of the reaction. So this change in this partial derivative of G with respect to the extent, it simply means how fast is the Gibbs energy being released. In this case, it Gibbs energy is released because it's a spontaneous reaction because we are seeing a negative Gibbs energy, remember the negative gradient. But here at this point, we see that if we put a tangent on this point, we have got a flat line and a horizontal line. So it Gibbs energy to lana is equal to 0. So the Gibbs energy is equals to 0, which means our reaction is at equilibrium. After lana, our reaction, our slope for this graph is now positive. Means Gibbs energy to say positive. Means reaction is non-spontaneous, which is no longer happening on its own. That is why it needs to absorb energy so that it can be able to proceed. So basically, that is just how to interpret that graph. It's very important. Equilibrium constant, this is just a revision for you guys to remember. For you to find the equilibrium constant, you use this law of mass action, whereby you look at the concentration of the product over the concentration of the what? Of the gaseous reactants. So basically, lana kule equilibrium constant yethu expression. If we are using concentration, we must only find what? We must only use ama gases and those things, those substances in aqueous solution. But ama liquids nama solids asiwasebenzisi on what? On the equilibrium constant expression because they remain constant. They are constant one. They don't change the concentration now. So even if you put them here, they are just going to be one. So basically, if it happens that we have got UKC wethu, our equilibrium constant, if it is greater than 1, it means that our equilibrium, it is lying to the right. Normal, it is favoring the formation of the products. So it means we see our numerator, which is the concentration of the product, is bigger than the what? Than the denominator, which is the concentration yani yama reactants. And just as I referred to case umi kanjani ngisho. Uthi concentration of products over concentration of reactants. So if it means that OK is greater than 1 here, mathematically you can see it means that the numerator yakho is what? Is bigger than the what? The denominator. So ngamanye amazwi, the concentration of our products is greater than the concentration of what? Of the reactants. So it means that your reaction, it is favoring the formation of any of our products. If it happens that OK is less than 1, it means that your equilibrium will lie to the left, will favor the reverse direction, going towards the left. So if OK wethu esowuthola lana is a number that is less than 1, it means that here i-denominator yakho injani? Inkulu kunani? The numerator. I just says leyo method interpret to say if the denominator is bigger than the numerator, then you're gonna get a fraction as you're gonna get a fraction that is less than 1 as your answer. So basically, lana, if this concentration of reactants is bigger than the concentration of the product, which is the numerator, it means that OK weight will be what? Less than 1. Means that now we are favoring the formation of our reactants because we have got more reactants formed than what? Than the products available. So we are favoring reactants formation. Yeah. So yeah, this is just a, okay, I'll skip this part. So be arguing after we explain it. So let's go to the other classification of AMA equilibrium that you can use. So you can have heterogeneous equilibrium, which applies to AMA reactions, whereby the reactants and products, they are all in different phases. They are in different phases. So for example, lana for calcium carbonate, which is a solid, solid angisho. So calcium carbonate or solid, as we on the lab, it reacts to be able to form what? To be able to form calcium oxide. It decomposes to calcium oxide, which is a solid, plus carbon dioxide, which is a gas. So see, if you try to do this decomposition reaction in a lab, what will happen? Calcium carbonate, although is a solid, is going to produce a solid calcium oxide plus a gas or calcium or carbon dioxide. So do you realize that here we are having a solid, but we are producing a solid and a gas. So we are having different phases within our reaction mixture, within our chemical system. Sinama phases ahlukene. So basically, that is known as heterogeneous equilibrium. So with heterogeneous equilibrium, we must know that the concentration of the solids and the pure liquids, the pure solids and the liquids remains constant. So equilibrium constant yethu, we don't have to put calcium carbonate no calcium oxide because they don't contribute anything, they don't change anything. Instead, equilibrium constant yethu will just be the concentration of carbon dioxide alone, because that's the only gaseous substance that we have. So you only put gases in the equilibrium. And if it happens that we are dealing with gases, we can also look for Kp, which is the equilibrium in terms of partial pressures. And in this case, the only thing that can have effects of pressure is only either in carbon dioxide, which is the gas. So the solids and the liquids, they are not affected by all of that. So concentration of solids and pure liquids are not included. But when we go to a homogeneous equilibrium, it applies to one reaction whereby we've got the same phase. So it means all the chemical species, all the chemical substances now system, they are in the same chemical state of matter. So for example, N2O4 has dinitrogen tetraoxide or something. but this gas decomposes to form this other gas. So this is forming this gas, right? So in this reaction, we've got only gases in the system. So a system H only has got gases, so we've got the same phase, it's a homogeneous equilibrium. So UKP expression wethu, UKC wethu, we are going to need in the concentration of the product, which is NO2, which is a gas, over the concentration of the reactant, which is N2O4, which is also a gas. Similarly, if you want to find a constant yakho, equilibrium constant yakho in terms of partial pressures, you look for the partial pressure of the product over the partial pressure of the what? Of the reactant. So in most cases, OKC is not always equal to 1 to KP. Because remember, this KC is the equilibrium constant in terms of what? In terms of the concentration. So we use it if we know the concentration and we want to try and determine its reaction here to ERP, forward or reverse. But if it happens that you are given pressures of the gaseous substances, you can use OKP. OKP is an equilibrium constant nakhona, but it uses what? Partial pressures. So to relate to KP no KC, you use this expression. KP is equals to KC into RT to the power of delta N. All of these are first year formulas, that's why I'm passing. What delta N is just the difference in the what? In the number of moles of the product, the gaseous products minus the number of moles of the what? Of the gaseous reactants. So for example, lana, delta N weight for this reaction is going to be O2, which is the number of moles of what? Of the product, minus O1, which is the number of moles of the gaseous reactants. So we only look at products and reactants that are in the gaseous phase, because those ones are affected by ubani or KP. So that's how you relate them using that law. So you can later on derive if you want to. Yeah. Ulichathalea principle, we know already, if you apply an external stress to a system at equilibrium, the system will do what? It will adjust itself so that it will be able to minimize the stress. So for example, if you push the piston liner, you push the particles loud, the system, it will push the particles, it will push this piston back up again, as we demonstrated at the beginning. So basically, you guys still remember it. To say, if I push down these particles, lawo particles will push up this piston again, because we are trying to maintain the state of chemical, physical as well as chemical and mechanical equilibrium. So that's a Le Chatelier's principle. And since you say it gives energy has got a relationship with the temperature if we're at equilibrium, basically, if we increase the temperature in a reaction, we know that we are favoring a reaction that is absorbing the temperature. So if we increase the temperature, we are favoring the reaction that does what? That absorbs the temperature. Because remember, only Chatelier, it does the opposite effect. So when you increase the temperature, your it decrease. So if you increase the temperature, the system will shift towards an endothermic reaction, no matter towards an endothermic direction. Because the endothermic direction is absorb the energy. It decreases the energy. So when you increase the energy in the system, what happens? The system will decrease the energy by absorbing it. And the absorption of the energy is an endothermic reaction. So increase in temperature favors endothermic, whereas it decrease in temperature, it will favor what? The exothermic reaction. Because when you are decreasing in temperature, you are causing a system chemical system to release that gives energy, so that it can increase the temperature again and restore any equilibrium. So basically, exothermic reactions, they are always favoring what? The formation of the reactants. And endothermic reaction, they are always favoring the formation of the what? Of the product. So initially, when we were introducing indaba gives energy, so it's a reaction that happens on its own spontaneously. What happens to it? A reaction that happens on its own spontaneously has got a negative delta G. Means the chemical potential that gives energy of products is way smaller than the Gibbs energy of what? Of the reactants. That is a spontaneous process. So since products which have nani ne energy njani encane kunani kunama-reactants. So if we've got a smaller energy here and a bigger energy here, we're going to have a negative Gibbs energy change. And the negative Gibbs energy change, it tells us that's a what? That's a spontaneous reaction. So Leo, it is doing what? It is forming products. So spontaneously, we are forming products by releasing in Gibbs energy. So ama exothermic reaction wona, if you increase its temperature, you are causing an exothermic reaction to occur. You are causing these things to release energy. So we say with ama exothermic reactions, they will, if you increase the temperature in exothermic reaction, will definitely favor what? Will favor the formation of reactants. Whereas if you increase temperature in endothermic reaction, you will favor the formation of products. That is just a revision of what we know. Okay, so now after understanding local, we need to now go to a response. Okay, we're done with the response of that. Now let's now link this thing to enthalpy. Remember in previous grades from grade 11 when we were introducing energy and chemical change, we talked about enthalpy and a change in enthalpy. Sathi thina a change in enthalpy, it is the heat of the reaction. That is what we said in grade 11 and lower grades. Sayibiza ngani leya? The heat of the reaction. In chemical equilibrium grade 12, you would say that this is a heat of the reaction. But since you did physical chemistry 2, you already know that delta H is not always the heat of the reaction. It is a heat of the reaction at a constant pressure, no matter constant volume between those two. So basically, who keeps energy nakhona sesasho is the energy that is released. It is also heat nakhona. So there must be a relationship between this enthalpy change, which is also a heat, and this delta G, it gives energy, which is also a heat, because all of these are energies that are released. Because if you go to a first year student, normal to a grade 11 student, and you say delta H is negative, a grade 11 student, normal first year student, will say that this is an exothermic reaction, it's releasing energy. If you go to a second year student and you say delta G is negative, this person is going to say that this is a spontaneous reaction because it's releasing the energy. So all of these, they are energies, but they must be related. And I think last year in physical chemistry 2, we did the derivation of the relationship, whereby the delta G is equals to delta H minus T times delta S. So this is known as the Gibbs-Helmholtz equation. So Gibbs-Helmholtz equation, it relates the change in enthalpy, which is also a form of heat, right? It's also a form of heat. It's measured in joules nakhona. So all of these are forms of energy. All of these are forms of energy, depending on the pressure and all of that. But Leo enthalpy change, we must minus it to ubani, temperature times any, the change in the entropy. Skhumbuleni see the change in the entropy, it is just the level of what? The level of disorder of the particles. Skhumbuleni see if ama particles wakho, they are more disordered, it means uthini, they are releasing more energy. If our particles wakho, they are less disordered or they are becoming more ordered, it means uthini, they are absorbing energy, something like that. So basically, we need to know, see, this is known as the Gibbs-Helmholtz equation. So basically, if it happens to see E entropy lana u delta S, because this is just a mathematical chemist. If u delta S were to lana, it is greater than 0. If E entropy change yet is greater than 0, it means that in lana its disorder is increasing angisho. So from reactants to products, what is happening lana? The amount of disorder, no matter the level of disorder, my particles increase. So here we are having a level. Okay, let's just say our particles work, they are moving from order to bani to disorder. And she entropy show value see every spontaneous process. When I'm defining a second of thermodynamics, every spontaneous process, it always leads to a disorder of our particles. So my substance and our particles are in order right like a crystalline solid. Let's just say this is a crystalline solid that is having ordered particles. Whenever you do it, whenever a spontaneous reaction happens to this particular substance, is more disordered. Ama particles wakho kanjani azohlukana abe more disordered. So it means that lapho mathematically the entropy is what is positive. So a positive entropy simply means our particles they are going towards what? Towards a disorder. So this means if we are having higher temperatures, so if we are having high values of the temperature, what does it mean lana mathematical? If low positive and lona mkhulu, lona ke uzoba kanjani? Delta G uzoba kanjani? Abantu abenza imaths bazositshela. If delta S is positive, it's a positive number, and T is a very big temperature, what will happen to delta G? Considering delta H is a positive. Uzoba kanjani? In mathematical logic, if delta S is positive, if this is a positive number, and this one is a very big number as well, izoba kanjani? Negative angisho. Yes, delta G will be negative at high temperature. That's why you say at high temperatures, we know the expression T delta S. This T delta S expression, it will definitely be a very big number. It will definitely be a very big number that is positive. And masothatha delta H wethu bese sithi minus lokho sothola delta G onjani or negative. So at higher temperatures vele we know that our delta G there, our value of the delta G is less than 0. Because basically this expression T delta S will definitely be greater. Let's just say it will be greater than ubani delta H. So it will be greater than delta H lone. Because mass new temperature iba inkulu kakhulu, it means le number lena nalo positive lo ka delta S, it will be a very big number compared to ubani to delta H. So if you are saying a smaller number minus a bigger number, that will give you a negative Gibbs energy. So it means that this is a what? This is a spontaneous. This is a spontaneous reaction. So we can only have a spontaneous reaction if the entropy is what? Is positive, number one. Meaning with the E system is moving from a more ordered system to a less ordered. So it means the disorder is increasing. The entropy is increasing because entropy is just a disorder. So at higher temperatures, we are going to have a spontaneous reaction. But if we're having lower temperatures, still delta S to say positive lapha at lower values of temperature. So at lower values of temperature, if it happens with temperature to land, it's a very small value, and the delta S to positive. Also, when the expression then, is it going to be big or small? The T delta S compared to delta H, is it going to be big or small? It's like you're multiplying a number and temperature being 0.5 times with delta S. So can the number equal no when you are multiplying? So it means the T delta S, this expression will definitely be smaller than what? Than delta H. So we can say that that expression T delta S will be smaller than delta H. Means that our Gibbs energy change there will be what? Will be positive. So it means that at lower temperatures, these are non-spontaneous. So basically, this is how you are relating the Gibbs energy with the enthalpy change, which is also a form of energy. Sometimes this can act as the heat. Normally, this is equal to the heat because as well as we measure directly, so we need to use techniques. So at lower temperatures, delta G is positive. It's a non-spontaneous. At higher temperatures, delta G is negative. It's a spontaneous. But if entropy is less than 0, it's always a non-spontaneous reaction. So if it happens with enthalpy if entropy is a number that is negative, if you look from the expression then maths, if delta S is a number is negative, what will happen to this minus here? If delta S is a negative number, it means it's going to be positive again. And with delta H, if it's a positive, this is positive delta H minus, and which is positive. So it's plus. So in number a positive always. So the value of delta G is always going to be positive because this negative, if delta S is negative, it means you are moving from disorder to order. and ayikho reaction ekanjalo spontaneous. So if you are moving from disorder to order, noma if you are taking ama-particles ahlakazekile, ama-particles that are dispersed or that are disordered, and then you are trying to make them to be more ordered, this cannot happen on its own. In nature ayikwazi ukuzi-arrangela ama-particles ukuthi abe njani, abe ne-order. Kodwa i-nature iyakwazi ukuwa-destroy ama-particles abe njani, abe disordered. So basically, this cannot happen naturally or spontaneous. So this is always non-spontaneous, because you cannot move from a level of disorder to an order naturally. You need to use some form of energy or something. So it's always non-spontaneous. So these are the basic concepts so that you can be able to look at a